Sadler Designs, and we are
Knitting Across the
Pennines.
I'm just trying to see if I can find us on Facebook. Yes, there we are. So I'm going to mute that.
Yeah, excellent.
We are live. I'm not seeing anybody there yet, but we are a minute or two early. But it's better to be that and know that we haven't got any tech issues. Your camera seems to have lost focus.
Oh no.
Do you want to click the little cog thing?
Yeah. Let's have a look. What's it saying? It's still
you've sort of gone on, you know, like Miss Ellie in Dallas, where she was always soft focus compared to.
Oh well, you know, maybe it's just because it's supposed to be a romantic light for me. I don't know. Is it looking any better?
A touch.
Because it was still saying 720.
Okay.
Bizarre. Maybe it's the internet.
Could be the internet connection. Anyway, not to worry.
Yeah. Oh, I've got a couple of hellos on the side. Hello.
Hello, Anne. Hello, Angela. Hello, Phil. Lovely to see everybody.
Lovely to see you all.
Yeah, we're just going to wait a minute or two and see who else joins us. We're planning to chat about colourwork knitting tonight, so I hope you've got some knitting with you, ready to do.
I haven't got any colourwork knitting with me, just some plain knitting at the moment. But I am working on something, and I hope everyone's got themselves a drink. Ready? I have plain black Earl Grey tea tonight. What have you got, Lorraine?
Well, I thought as soon as you were in your pyjamas, I would show my Rington's mug of hot chocolate.
See, hot chocolate is perfect for a Friday night. Anybody else want to tell us what they're drinking this evening? Have you all got a nice beverage?
Share with us.
Yeah, we like to know what everybody's drinking. Oh, drinking tea.
Oh, that sounds good, Anne. Is that, what have we got? Have we got Yorkshire tea, or have we got Rington's, or
PB Tips?
Builder tea?
Builder tea.
It's usually my speciality.
Earl Grey in my house, because I have to drink it black, and I can't drink Builder's tea black. It doesn't quite taste right. So very, very weak Earl Grey.
Oh, wow.
I don't suppose anybody's braving an adult beverage this evening.
Oh, Anne says she's got Yorkshire tea.
Yorkshire tea. Oh, a glass of red wine.
Oh, well done, Bill.
Oh, I love it. Chin chin.
That sounds a lot better, doesn't it?
Definitely better.
So we're both knitting. I'm not actually working on a colourwork piece at the moment. I'll show you this. Hopefully you can see that.
Can see that, yeah.
Little lacy cowl. This is some Rowan Cash Soft Aran, and it's discontinued. Well, I think it's discontinued. The colour is called Japonica, which is sort of a dusty cerise colour. It's like a muted version of Barbie pink.
Oh, right, yeah, definitely.
Oh, Phil says it's an hour later here, so she's allowed to have a drink at 8 in the evening.
Well, definitely. I mean, well, I thought 5 was the time, personally, 5 o'clock this evening.
Oh, Phil might be being really good. Hello, Helen. Lovely to see you. Oh, Anne says it's Helen. Really nice, the sort of a glass of wine. Yeah, we did it. So, I don't know if you've been watching our stories on Instagram, but we've been having a little bit of fun with them this week, and on a trip to Woolfest, possibly 3 years ago, maybe more, with a Ravelry user called Not Rune, Annette, and her husband. It was one of those bargain bin purchases where you get literally a bin as tall as I was, full of balls of wool for colourwork. And since then it's been referred to as the bag of balls, and I've done nothing with it. And now that I've started sort of doodling with colourwork and playing around with it, hopefully you can see that.
Yeah, it's looking good.
My son has christened it the bag of balls cowl.
Excellent.
Yeah,
I'm confused with ball
I'm,
bag.
I'm thinking more along the lines of, oh, Andrea's with us. Hello, Andrea.
Hey, Andrea.
Um, I'm thinking more along the lines of something like colour doodle, because I was just playing with colour. But Jake seems to think that ball bag is the name.
I like ball bag. I'm sorry. I just think it's catchy. It's a bit tongue in cheek. It's definitely my kind of humour.
Oh, well, I think for me, oh, there's Michelle just arrived. Hi, Michelle.
Hi, Michelle.
I think what puts me off calling it ball bag, and certainly in the context that Jake says it,
Yeah.
it has a very different meaning, is it's really scratchy.
Oh,
It's as
right.
my dad touched the wool and he said it was as rough as the badger's bum. I don't know how he knows what a badger's bum feels like.
Sometimes it's best not to
How do you measure that level of roughness? But it is pretty scratchy and rough. I mean, once it's been in a bath of Pantene or Head and Shoulders or something like that, I'm sure it'll relax an awful lot.
What is a badger's favourite shampoo?
I don't know, but I never use proper wool wash. I just use a shampoo that softens.
Yeah.
And Pantene works really well. And if you put a couple of squirts of vinegar in the water, then it seems to help settle any dye runoff.
Yeah, I've never used any of those special wool washes either.
No, I don't see the point.
They're very expensive, aren't they?
They are, yeah. But given that we're talking colour work, and I'm always controversially saying that yarn dominance is a myth.
Yes.
I thought I would show some examples of some of my worst colour work and some of my better colour work.
Oh, excellent. Come on then, let's see.
Oh, Andrea says the internet's being a bit wonky, but we look great.
Oh, no.
Bless.
Oh,
yeah, dodgy internet always improves my appearance.
I wouldn't say that. Arthur's trying to get in on the action. Go on, move. Right, come on then. Let's see this.
Okay, so can you see this? There's kind of a rusty colour, rusty orange.
Yeah.
And a green. It's a mustardy, yellowy green.
Yeah.
Kind of thing going on. What I did with this one is the yellowy greeny yarn is actually slightly finer than the orange one.
Okay.
It's a thin yarn. Some of them were 4-ply, some were double knit, and some were Aran. But I just chose by colour and threw them all in a bag and didn't really think about it until I started knitting with them. So in terms of when you're stranding, the colour that you keep below is the one that has the very slight dominance if your tension is even. Okay. And on this one, it's slightly more dominant than it would normally be because the orange is a bigger yarn.
Right, okay.
Yeah, and I tried really hard with my tension on that one. That purple and dusty pink.
It looks a bit like blue and white on my screen, actually.
Yeah, it is quite inky and it's quite a cool colour, and it's the one out of the whole batch that sort of jars a little bit and doesn't quite go with it, but I had to have a purple. You can't say no, can you?
You can't say no to purple, Arthur.
No. So I put that in there, but again, I went with the contrast colour as dominant.
Okay.
On that one, but you can't really tell. But what I did was pay a lot of attention to keeping my tension or gauge really even wherever possible.
Yeah.
And then a lot of people have talked, I think Roxanne Richardson has done a really good video about different ways of handling your floats in the back and whether which colour is at the bottom, which colour is at the top. And there's a method called rotating floats where if you're a thrower, it's actually easier because you knit the stitch, you drop the yarn, you pull the other colour from underneath and then do your next little few knits, drop the yarn and pull the preceding colour from underneath. So the yarn is always coming from underneath. And when you finish your row or your round, it's all twisted.
Right, okay.
You have to spend a minute kind of unravelling it all, separating it, because it's like the snake's wedding. But what you get is, can you honestly tell which yarn was dominant on that? It's actually a dusky pink, very pale dusky pink. green.
No, I mean, obviously the green stands out more just because it's a darker colour.
But if I try and get closer, if you can see the size of the stitches, there isn't a massive difference.
No, they all look very even.
Of the stitches. And I paid absolutely no attention to my tension gauge, whatever you want to call it, on that section. I just focused on remembering to always lift the yarn from underneath for the next block of stitches. And then on this one, it's harder to see because they're quite dark. It's a deep rust and a teal. The teal is 4-ply or fingering weight, and the rusty colour is double knit, and I did the teal colour as the dominant yarn. Okay. And what that did is more or less make those stitches match.
They look
it's really hard to tell.
Yeah.
So you can play around with it. I've got a little bit of puckering here because I've not blocked, and there's the odd hole. Can you see? On these little triangles.
Around the kind of...
Where the creamy colour. Yeah.
Yeah.
The dominant colour is this sort of a pale peachy orangey colour. That's the dominant one. That's the one at the very bottom.
Yeah.
And then the burgundy was in the middle when I was stranding and choosing my yarn. And then the white was the one from the top. And that's because the creamy white yarn is actually the thickest of the two. That's closer to Aran weight.
Right, okay.
And I wanted to not let that take over. And hopefully that's achieved that.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I've just played around with it. And just to show the difference, the lighter colour there with those little crosses, it's a pale minty green and a teal. It's the same teal that we used further up.
Oh, yeah.
The minty green is a double knit. The teal is 4-ply fingering weight, so quite fine in comparison. What I did with those is the lighter colour is the dominant yarn in both cases. But obviously the stripe at the top looks a lot deeper, but it's exactly the same number of rows. So
And how did you do that one where you kept like dropping it and picking it up again?
No, with that one I just did that the standard way with where the dominant yarn is the one that's always at the bottom. And so then
you have them on like 2 fingers sort of thing?
No, as a thrower I just drop the yarn, pick up the next one.
But you didn't make sure it was at the bottom.
But it wasn't at the bottom, no. One colour stayed along the bottom, which was the lighter colour.
Yeah.
Which is the standard sort of fair isle method.
I kind of knit with one over one finger and one over the other, and then like kind of twist them round. It's very awkward when I do the work.
Anne says you've got a lovely dog, and Helen says she's trying to watch, but she's having to help with Lego.
Oh, what are you building? Spaceship.
That is what you're building, Helen. Did I tell you I was shot yesterday?
Shot?
Yes, I took the bin out yesterday when I came home from a meeting. No, went outside to get the bin in. The bin and bin was out. And I'm dragging the wheelie bin in, and Batman, Wonder Woman, and a giant spider with big hairy legs leapt out from a house 3 doors down with Nerf guns and shot me to death.
Oh!
Must be well booked, eh?
Do you know what? I sometimes think that you live in Midsummer or something, for all the fact that you live in a small village. All sorts of weird things go on around you. Or the Twilight Zone or something.
Oh, I know. And the daft thing is, I was joking with our PCSO about it this morning, and somebody apparently has been shot in the bottom with a...
Oh, no.
with an air rifle.
Oh, they can hurt.
But because of where it is, I think we know who it is. So.
Oh, right, okay. I did, as a teenager, I did get hit on the forehead by one of those BB gun things, and that really hurt.
Yeah, it's not nice.
No.
But yeah, generally we don't have problems. Mostly the people around here that have guns tend to be farmers. It's not really the criminals, it's farmers and with the for having them, so it's not really a problem.
Yeah.
All right, Helen's on a police car.
Oh, police car.
Oh, that's right. So great. So you guys can go and pick up Batman and Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Later. Maybe not the spider.
Maybe not the spider. I mean, was the spider just minding his own business?
Well, no, because he kept sort of shooting me in the leg and saying that your leg's blown off now, you can't run away.
Right, okay, so he was crippling you for the others to come and get you.
Oh, yeah, and the little girl, Wonder Woman, shot me in the face.
Well, she's supposed to be the one saving you.
I know, I did say to her what happened to all this with
Wonder
the wrist
Woman.
yeah. What happened to all that? And, you know, sisterly solidarity. And she just looked at me.
Well, she obviously didn't realise, you know, today's International Women's Day, did she?
Is it today or is it the weekend?
Today or tomorrow?
Anyway, on to some more colourwork. This is a little tea cosy. It's got little holes for the spout. No veil, I didn't stick them. I apologise, I should have done. But I actually knitted this flat.
Yeah.
4mm needles. It's somewhere between a double knit and an Aran. It claims to be an Aran, but it's not really. It looms up quite nicely. This is not blocked. It's not even steamed.
It looks like it's been blocked.
It's knit the standard way. I'd have to look at the floats. I think the contrast colour, the yellowy, goldy, rainbowy mess, was the dominant.
Is that like a variegated yarn that you used there?
It's a Austerman Creative and Filts. I do have some left in the shop actually. It's a lovely yarn to work with. It feels really nice on the hand. But it's not machine wash, obviously, because being filt is the clue, obviously. It's a felting yarn primarily. And I thought it would be really good for the teapot. Cozy. But this, I wanted to show you this because this is knitted flat and the right side rows are knitted the normal way. Yeah. And then I knitted the wrong side rows backwards with the right side facing. So I worked from left to right, having to think which is left, left and right. That's a challenge. Phil will be laughing. He knows I struggle with left and right. But yeah, knitting backwards for those rows because I don't know what it is about charts. I can do charts for lace, I can work it back, it's not a problem. But you do colour work and I'm purling from the wrong end of the row. And all the colour work ends up being odd. So I thought, I'll just knit backwards. Yeah. So I found a video on YouTube that taught me the basics, and I still sometimes get stitches mounted slightly the wrong way and have to turn them round when I'm ready to knit my next row again. Yeah. But you know, getting perfectly even tension, and that's not blocked at all. No blocking there, people.
It really looks like you blocked it
backwards. And I was so chuffed with that, and that's the first time I've done any kind of sizable piece with it. I've used it for entrelac probably about 12 years ago or something. Really long time ago.
Entrelac. I'd like to see you do that. You'll have to do a little video of you knitting backwards.
I will do. I've ordered one of those. It's not a gorilla, it's a fake gorilla. You know, it stands with the flexible tripod.
I've got one of those.
So I can lean the camera over like that and I can look through the phone camera while my hands are in front of it. Yeah, that's the sort of thing that I want. Yeah, so really I need to get something like that, and I needed to get one that was substantial so that the camera didn't fall onto me.
Yeah. You never leave going along and then it goes dush and we can't see what's happening.
Oh, Deborah's joined us. Hi, Deborah. Hi, Deborah. Have you got a hot beverage this evening? I have got Rington's hot chocolate.
Oh, how is the hot chocolate going down?
Nearly finished, actually.
I know.
Because we're only on about 17 minutes past 7. So
you haven't got a backup.
I haven't got a backup drink. I might have to sneak away for one.
I've got a backup lemonade. But hoping that my tea will last. Because it is still hot.
Yeah, I think one of the few things that we talked about the other day when we were chatting colour work was I was talking about colour changes on lace patterns.
Yes.
When you're sort of striping with lace, and this is probably a reasonable illustration of that. you don't get a straight stripe because you've got increases and decreases and shaping.
It becomes more of a wave, doesn't it?
It does, absolutely. And the other thing that I did, if I come in really close, can you see that? The first row of the japonica pink, rather than the lilac, in that, where it's got the little pearls in the centre in that triangle, the first row of those is 4 knit stitches.
Yeah.
Centre of that lace. And then on the way back, I had to put little markers to remind me to knit them on the wrong side so there'd be pearls on the front, because obviously if I had done that the other way, we would end up with dodgy pearl bumps and where you get the changeover, and you don't want the 2 colours in it. I mean, there are occasions where you may want that for effect.
Yes.
You know, if
at that point you didn't want them. Hello.
Yeah. Hello, Arthur.
Where's Lorraine? Can you hear her? No, he's just looking a bit confused at the moment.
Oh,
there's a disembodied voice coming from somewhere.
Oh, lovely.
Your two are being quite quiet tonight.
You probably can't hear them because I've put my earphones on and my microphone, and that was just because last time Coco seemed to think it was okay to rerun her version of Strictly Come Dancing in the living room.
It was the Coco show.
And all you could hear, where's the microphone? There's the microphone. You could just hear this all over the floor. And
your problem is?
And then when I came to do the video editing, I use a piece of software called Camtasia. I don't know if anybody uses that, but I use it quite a lot for work, for video stuff. And you can separate the audio track from the video track, which is really helpful. And it's got a noise reduction. And it took out so much of the background noise before I then loaded it up onto YouTube. So that helped quite a lot. And you'll see on this is the super bulky version of that cowl. Again, we've got that really pronounced change.
It looks lovely in that yarn.
And if I show you this way, which way? I always struggle with this. That way.
I know, because you think you're going one way, but actually it wants you to go the opposite way.
Yeah, and that's my brain completely. You can see that we've got 4 knit stitches under there, and then 1 row of purls, and then we've got 2 purl stitches on the front for the next bit, and then we do our decreases, and it just gives a nice neat line if you want a crisp line in that colourwork change.
Yeah, it looks lovely.
I quite like that detail, so yeah. I'm quite pleased with that one. It's super warm.
It looks super warm.
Yeah, it's not.
Colours of it as well.
It's not really the one for a menopausal woman, I have to say.
And especially this time of the year, because you go out in the morning and it's frosty and it's freezing cold, and within an hour you're boiling because the sun's out and the temperature's risen by about 10 degrees, and you've got far too many layers on. You definitely need the lighter weight version this time of year.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. What's that one you got round your neck?
It's the same cowl, but this one is it's a Starcraft Bellissima Chunky.
Oh, lovely.
And it's a colour called Precious Posy.
It's like a dusky pink.
It is a dusky pink, and it's a neutral, which is why I can get away with wearing it. If it was slightly on the cool side, I would really struggle. I've got a hat and another cowl in this japonica colour. And within about 20 minutes of wearing this, you start to see all the red capillaries and every blackhead I've ever had in my life. Its appearance. With the fox glove, the lilac-y colour.
Yeah.
No problem at all.
It's funny, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just really odd. But this Precious Posy, I think, is really cute. I think it's about £2.79 or £3 or something a ball. It's super cheap for 100 grams, and I'm doing this with cast soft Aran.
Yeah.
You can feel the difference that there's cashmere in the yarn compared to the little woolly teapot that I picked up earlier. But actually, when I go back to this, it's slightly softer, but not massively so. It's really quite pleasant, and Emma and I talked on Zoom earlier today because we had some chatting to do and talk about the technology and all the rest of it. And I've literally had this on ever since.
And you've not taken it off. I love that.
I've been wandering around all day with it because it's just so comfy. And that took 90 grams of a 100-gram ball for under £3.
So it's really affordable then, isn't it? Because a lot of people, I mean, it's nice to get the expensive yarns and the, you know, £15, £16 a skein, the hand-dyed indie ones. I absolutely love them. But if you're making a lot of stuff with them, it's not really affordable, is it, to be honest? Yeah. But the Bellissima is a lovely, lovely yarn. It really is. Affordable and soft.
With the yarn details on that one.
Oh yeah, see that. Bellissima Chunky in Precious Posy.
Yeah, it's a really cute little colour. I think it's. You've used Bellissima double knit, haven't you, on quite a few
I've used the double knit on my Elderwood hat and cow matching set, and I used it on something else, and I can't quite remember what it is off the top of my head. But yeah, I love it. It's just a bit nicer and softer than the Stylecraft Special. I think it's a little bit more expensive than the Special.
It is, yeah, because it's round about £1.80 to £2 a ball for the Special double knit.
Yeah,
the Special Chunky.
Yeah, but I would definitely go for the Bellissima. I did a hat pattern for and I think that was the Elderwood actually. Yes, it was for a competition in Knit Now magazine, and came second, and I won a sweater quantity of the Bellissima as the prize, which I haven't used yet, and that's in a very dusky rosy pink colour.
Right.
But I haven't decided what to do with that yet, so I've still got that upstairs. Because I don't want to crack into it because it's a sweater quantity.
Yeah.
I don't want to crack into it and use a ball of it for a hat or something, which I could easily do. I think it would be a shame. I'd like to keep it together and use it for a bigger garment, maybe a cardigan. I quite like cardigans.
Coco, your timing is classic. Apparently, we need an urgent read. I'll be back in a moment.
Oh no! I'll just talk to Arthur. Anyone see him? No? You want to play ball? Catch? Anybody online want to talk to me? I'm just, sitting here on my own with the dog playing ball. Is there anyone there listening to me? No?
Here we are.
I was just asking if there was anyone there listening to me.
Oh, I'm sure there is. I'm sure there'll be someone around.
Yeah.
But, I'm sure Helen will relate absolutely to this, because having Labradors is just like having large, sweaty, hairy toddlers who want to go to the bathroom with you.
So funny, isn't it?
I know, they're brilliant. What else did I want to show? Now, colourwork. This was something that it was a design in progress, and I put it away. It might have been sat upstairs for about 6 years, but I need a baby gift, something else to go with the crochet blanket and the cardigan of doom with the yoke combo thing. This little girl, Isabel Grace. And whilst looking for something else that I still haven't found, I found this, which is this little...
the cardigan. I absolutely
call it a cashcur or something like that, because it wraps around the heart. It is quite cute.
It's those ballet ones.
Sorry?
It's a bit like the ballet ones that go across and they tie round.
Yeah, but you have a button on the inside.
Yeah.
And the bottom, and then 3 buttons on the front. And that's just slip stitch colourwork. You only ever work on one colour per 2 rows. Mosaic is generally how it's described. And that was so really quick.
Oh, sorry, Arthur's going mad because somebody's daring to turn round in our driveway.
Oops.
He's really not happy about that. I'm sorry.
Who's sat? Oh, Michelle says she's sat in a jumper with her tea.
Oh, excellent. Arthur, come on. Good boy. He's gone now. Yeah, I know. He wasn't trying to get you. We're trying to listen to Lorraine. She's talking about her cardigan. Sorry.
That's all right.
What were you saying?
Oh, Helen's here. So everyone's jumping on to say they were listening to you when you were on your own. So
Oh,
anyway,
excellent. I did feel a little bit sad.
Helen and Andrea, and Michelle's knitting a jumper while she has her tea. So there you are. You weren't on your own. As if I would abandon you.
Is she having her tea or is she having a cup of tea?
Oh, I think cup of tea at this time of night, don't you? I could be wrong.
My husband likes to eat this time of night. It's far too late for me.
Yeah, Mike likes to eat this time of night, and then he's up all night with indigestion. And
yeah, wonders why.
Yeah. So, I thought I'd show you a colourwork fail.
Oh, we've all had those.
Oh, who is it? Says they're working on a sock but forgot the drink. Oh, that's Andrea.
No.
So you'll have to shout Evie to go and get it for you.
Yeah, definitely.
This was one of those where when you're playing around with a rainbow yarn,
yeah,
your contrast yarn is also a colour changer, and it's a bit peely-wally and insipid. It gets harder and harder to see the pattern.
Yeah,
and then it goes into this awful black, which it's like I'd cleaned an ashtray with it.
You really didn't like that item, did you?
No, I like that side. So that would be the public face of it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you can see there, that's what they call it a curb, C-U-R-B. And you knit so many rows and then you turn it back on itself and pick up on the wrong side of the work, the pearl buttons, and knit around to create this lump.
All right, okay.
Speed bump, really. Oh, Andrea says it's definitely a cup of tea. Is it Andrea says about the cup of tea? Oh, Michelle says she's got a cup of tea, not cup of tea. Andy says that if he's still in school, it's only 1:30 p.m. Oh, that's quite good then. You got home a bit earlier than you thought you were going to, and you've got space and quiet.
Excellent.
We're loving it.
Yeah.
Yes, I don't know whether to show you some of the other colours from my scratchy ball bag.
Yeah, come on. Get your balls out, love.
It's kind of minty green. Can you see that? See how that's quite thick,
quite thick, yeah.
Yeah. And there's my teal, which is it's a lot thinner in comparison when you see the two yarns together.
I like that teal colour.
Yeah, it's lovely.
That's my kind of a colour.
And then I've got lots of these. There's that peachy one.
Yeah.
I've got lots of these kind of rusty colours.
That one's nice as well.
Some of them are quite similar.
Is that like more of a maroony colour?
One's more of a burgundy, a muted burgundy, and the other two are definitely orangey, rusty, bricky kind of colours.
Yeah.
Vary slightly. I've got sort of a wheaty colour. Can you see that?
Oh, yeah.
And this is this sort of, Jake calls it like an acidic green. It's a bit a mustardy green, if there is such a thing.
I think mine's like a mustardy green.
Yeah. Bit of yellow going on. That's a slightly darker version of it and softer again. There's a brown, one brown. Oh, sorry, that's the purple.
I was going to say that's a very purple brown.
You can just see them, and they're kind of in the corner. There's the brown.
Oh, that looks really dark.
Yeah. So I've not used it yet. There's this sort of khaki.
Yeah.
foam colour, and then there's this.
That's a ducky kind of colour.
Yeah, it's slightly on the warm side rather than the cool side. Bit of a peachy thing going on. And then this is very similar to sort of Stylecraft Meadow Green actually in real life, but you can't tell on the camera, it's a bit odd. So that's that. Right, I will have to go and let them in because otherwise we'll start barking in the night.
Oh no, the neighbours will start. Thank you. Can I have this? Is this mine or is it yours? Can you give me a paw? Good boy. No more barking. Come here. I can hear some four-legged footprints, paws on the carpet. Yeah. Thank you. Are you back? There she is. What have you got there in your hand? What did you have in your hand then?
It's some Maypole double knit by Euro Baby.
Yeah.
I bought a load of this on clearance, and most of it, to be honest, I've just sold on eBay for a small profit.
Right.
But I've kept this colour.
Oh yeah. That's interesting. I like that.
It's called Sun Gold Tomatoes.
All right.
It's an acrylic, and it's quite a textured acrylic. You see, it's got a very fine black thread goes through and snags the yarn. I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah.
Some people really like it, some don't, and it goes through sort of a rainbow, and this is kind of a muted rainbow rather than an in-your-face one. And I've been selling it in sweater quantities and stuff. I've kept that one for me, and I'm thinking I might do something with crochet.
Oh, you're going to get your hooks out.
Yeah. Yes, I might be a hooker for a little while.
Yeah, you be a hooker. What do you want?
Yeah, I don't know whether to do a blanket or something like that. Sorry, I'm just refilling my ball bag.
Excellent.
Anyone that's just joined us is going to be thinking, say what?
Is it a big ball bag?
It is quite a large ball bag. Go big or go home.
Well, you know, knitting does take balls.
Oh, now somebody's asking, what are you knitting, Emma? Oh, that's Phil. Phil asking.
All right. I'm knitting a headband. It's going to go like that when it's finished. And it's in 4-ply sock yarn. This one's like a mustardy greeny colour. It's called cardamom.
Oh, is that West Yorkshire Spinners?
It certainly is. It's actually leftovers from my Stanhope jumper.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've got that much left. So I'm hoping it's going to be just enough. If not, it's going to be very stretched. And the seam might not be exactly at the back, but who's going to know?
Just fling some hair over it. And
I'll be fine, like I'll do that. And then
I always work on the theory that if anybody's rude enough to notice, they just need a slap.
What's that look like then? How's that?
That's lovely. It's almost sort of turban-like there.
Yeah, boho.
Yeah.
Boho chic.
Boho chic. Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah.
It's the thing, doesn't it?
Oh, sorry about the pyjamas, but I'm going to bed as soon as we finish talking.
Yeah, I don't know what that says about us. I'm trying not to take that personally. But oh, Bill says that looks nice with the crossover.
How do you like West Yorkshire Spinners? Yeah, I really quite like it actually. I think it's about £5 for a ball, and you get more than enough for a pair of socks out of it. I like it. Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
How much did you use for the sweater?
Yeah. I think it's really nice. The stripy one, what colour did I use? I think it was blue pit that I used for the contrast. And it was really nice using it for a bigger area to see how the pattern reacts differently rather than in a small area with a sock. And obviously it's designed to change colour at certain points as you're knitting around on the sock. So I found it really interesting to use on a bigger area.
Oh, that's good. You show us your beautiful cowl as well, because I'm itching for everyone to see the cowl that you made during the Indie Design Gift Along this year.
The elephant cowl.
Yeah.
Yes. So here's my bag that I got last week from Kelly Connor. Absolutely gorgeous. I mean, how huge is this? It's got everything in it. Right. So this is the elephant cowl, and it was knitted in the round. So it was knitted that way, crossways, like there, stripes across. So all my floats are inside. Just having a look for where my seam is. Ah, there it is. So can you actually even see that?
I can't see the graft at all. No. Isn't it beautiful, everybody? Let's have some likes for that one, because that's just stunning.
And actually on the proper pattern, it merged from one bit into the next, and it went completely seamlessly with the pattern. But right. I found that it was just getting too big, so I stopped it early.
Right.
It is a huge item.
What yarn did you use for that one, Emma?
This was Rowan Felted Tweed. So this is what I've got left over from this is what I'm using as scraps to try out for my cardigan that I'm going to steek.
Right.
So, and the best bit was, obviously I knew it was an elephant cowl and I knew I was going to have elephants, but the surprise was squirrels. I didn't expect those. Can you see him?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, nice
and sneaky, isn't it?
Yeah. So I was really, really happy when he came along. I was like, oh wow, it's an elephant cowl, but it's got squirrels as well. So yeah, I knitted that in. I think it took me about 10 days in the gift along to do that one.
So we've got quite a few comments for that one, Emma.
Yes, I was quite
pleased. It's gorgeous. She loves the colours. Andrea says fantastic. Helen says gorgeous. Love the colours. Michelle, wow, amazing work, Emma. And Andrea says it's so cute. Andrea, is that the squirrels that made you think cute?
Yeah, the squirrels are really, really cute. Really cute.
And you had some of the colourwork to show us.
Yes. Well, my first attempt at steeking, and I'd been dying to do steeking, but I was so nervous. So I thought I'd go with something slightly smaller. And again, this is Rowan Felted Tweed as well, because it's a really good grippy yarn. So I made, and this is Jessie Matrick. I never know how to Matrick, is it?
Matrick.
Yeah, that's how you say her name. So I knitted this, and this was done completely in the round, and the V-neck was and actually the sleeves, the armholes were steeked. So I had to cut them.
Did you steek the neck as well?
The neck and the armholes, yeah.
Right.
So if you wanted to look at my project notes, there's actually pictures of it before, during and after when I'm steeking that one. But I do find definitely that my colour work personally is much neater when I knit in the round. I just don't seem to be able to, well, I don't enjoy knitting flat anyway, you know me. Anything that I can knit in the round, I will knit it in the round. I don't like to purl. I've never enjoyed purling. So I actually hunted these out earlier. Some swatches that I did. It's an idea I've got actually that I want to do a cardigan where the two fronts are different, the two arms are different, and then you've got a back, so you'd need 5 different patterns. And these were a few of the swatches that I did. So this one's not too bad, actually. I think that's quite even. And my floats look quite even on the back as well, actually. So that's not too bad for me. But some of these other ones, you can quite clearly see that I didn't like knitting. And can you see in the middle there? Hang on, which way am I going? Is that right? Can you see that? Can you see those stitches aren't very even? There's a few white ones that, yeah, the white ones are disappearing. So if I was to do more colour work, I've either got to work on purling, a lot of work on purling, or it's going to have to be in the round for me.
Or learn to knit backwards.
Or learn to knit backwards. You're going to have to do me a video.
Yeah, I will do something on that, and I'll try and figure out how to mount the stitch properly, because I usually have to correct it most of the time. But because I'm so slow, it doesn't matter. Andrea says the floats on the back of your work are so lovely and even. Yeah, they're beautiful floats.
Yeah, do you know what? Actually, I think sometimes the back looks more pretty than the front. I mean, that looks lovely and even, but when you turn it round on the front, so here, for example, I can see that it's not very, I don't know if you can see that. It's really difficult getting it in the right place, but the stitches are just not quite there. And I think this is definitely better on the back. Perhaps I should just wear it that way round.
There's a couple of yoke sweaters who've used that as a feature and had the yarn over the front and done the colourwork backward.
Yeah, maybe it's something I should do.
Well, it could be your thing.
It could be my thing. Everybody needs a thing. I quite like floats. I mean, let's have a look. My inside of this, it's not my best work because it was during the gal. So it was a case of let's get this finished as quickly as I possibly can and try and get onto the next project. So where I've steeked, and then I don't know if you can see that, that's the inside, and that's where I've put the armband. Is that showing up on the camera?
Yeah, we can see it.
Yeah, so it's definitely not my neatest work.
Vil says that felted tweed is great to work with and that she finds some yarns are more forgiving with colour work than others. Yeah, absolutely, Vil. I find superwash a nightmare because they're slippery little beggars.
And to be honest, the one time that I would probably say you need a decent amount of wool content, because the acrylic's just not going to do it really, I think. You need something that's quite grippy.
I find I can use acrylic, but I generally have to go down about half a needle size. So usually with colour work, I would go, if it's a double knit, I would use a 4.5mm instead of a 4mm needle.
Right.
Possibly even a 5.
Yeah.
But with acrylic, I'll use a 4mm needle, and then I get neat colour work.
Right. I personally, I just find that I can't work very well with acrylics on colour work, but then that's just the way that I've worked. Probably other people find different.
I think wool is, generally speaking, wool is a lot better because it's got that grippiness to it that you want to work. You don't want to be messing around and not have that.
And especially if it's seeking.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So that's what I'm going to do with my cardigan that I've started. So it's knitted in the round, and I'm going to do the same as what I've done here and cut and then put a band on it.
I don't know if we've got Tanya here tonight. I've not seen her this evening, but she mentioned earlier in the week about a neat trick with colour work, that if you're doing stripes in ribbing and you're changing your colour, to do a plain knit row with your new colour and then go back to your ribbing pattern in the same way that I did with the cowl with the pearl stitches that I knitted on the front. Right. And then pearl the next row so that you don't get the 2 colour pearl bumps on the front.
Oh, that's handy, isn't it?
And Vil was saying that all of her colour work she does in the round because it allows her to keep the tension much more even, and she's a great one for steeks as well.
Oh, I think once you've steeked, you never go back. It is scary. It really is the first time you do it. But honestly, literally, as soon as I'd finished that, the first time ever, I was like, right, what else can I cut? Where's my knitting? I need to cut knitting. I got the scissors out, like, yeah.
Is that not the time to do a load of little mug cozies or something
Yeah,
like that?
I think so, definitely. Maybe I
Oh,
should.
I made a comment about your zebra pajamas, and Andrea and Phil are saying that they love them.
I love my zebras. They're gorgeous, aren't they? Who else is in their pajamas? I can't surely be the only one in my pajamas.
Who else has got their PJs on? I haven't, unusually. Generally, I would have my pajama bottoms on.
Right.
But I've actually still got my jeans on.
I'm guessing Andrea won't be because, school.
Yeah, she's got the school run to do, yeah.
Yeah. But,
if my Auntie Tracy were watching, she'd be wearing her Mr. Men pajamas and her pink bunny slippers.
I have got my slippers on. I don't know if you can see my slippers on my feet, but I've got my slippers on.
Oh, yeah. They look nice.
They're actually, you got a little quick flash because I'm not showing you them properly. They're a couple of years old and they're looking worse for wear. I actually went into Matalan this morning looking for a new pair of slippers, specifically went in for slippers, came out with no slippers, a pair of shoes, a mustard jumper, and a fitted bedsheet.
Oh, Andrea says she needs some Mr. Men pajamas.
Oh, I'd love Mr. Men pajamas. My friend Anne, Mr. Men.
Michelle said she's in her PJs, but Phil isn't yet. Mind you, Phil is ahead of the rest of us because she's got wine.
Wine and PJs.
She really got with the program. I should have had Prosecco or something. I'd have probably been under the table by now.
Well, I do have to be up. I think my alarm is set for 4:40 in the morning. So
we had a party at Phil's house. Gosh, I must have been in my early 20s, and I'm how old now? And the guys went down to the local pub to get, because we needed more beer and more stuff. And there's a whole gang of them. They'd all been given things to buy to take back. One person just remembered something off the list.
Okay.
They were responsible for one thing. So Phil's husband at the time, Steve, goes to the bar and orders you could get 8-pint carryouts of beer. So he's ordering bitter and mild and lager and all of this other stuff that he needs. And then one of the guys at the very end had got what I wanted, and he had to ask for baby sham. All these blokes asking for really masculine drinks. It was really funny.
A baby sham. My mother-in-law used to drink baby sham.
I quite like a little bit of baby sham.
I like baby sham. Is it Perry? A pear Perry?
It's Perry, yeah. Oh, Andrew says come back away at 7 p.m. her time and she'll have some wine.
Oh, party at Andrea's.
Yeah, I will have to wake you up.
Oh yeah. Well, how long is it? It might be 7 p.m. when I'm getting up anyway. Another 6 hours.
That's true. That's very true. I would be a little bit before park run. I don't recommend it.
No. Well, do you know what? Actually, twice I've gone to park run. Once I went with my husband. I think we'd had about 4 hours sleep on a lot of alcohol. We literally fell out of bed, a coffee in the car on the way there, ran park run, and I got a PB, and then came home and died. And then the second time I did it with my best friend, we'd been out for a bit of a heavy session the night before, went to park run the next day, got another PB that day as well. So I think there's a bit of a pattern emerging here.
Did she run in front of you with a bottle of Prosecco?
She didn't even come. She would have been in bed. She'd have stayed at home. So,
can anybody give me some suggestions? Because I was looking for the book I can't find. And I've got this lone ball of Sublime Soya Cotton double knit. What is the colour called? Oh, it's just got a shade number. I think it's something like, it's not Lagoon, or it might be Reef or something like that. They had kind of names suggestive of the beach and the Caribbean and places like that. How much is it? It's only 50 grams, 120 yards, 110 meters. So it's a crochet dishcloth or something. I don't know what to do with it. Soya and cotton is really stretchy, so I don't want to use it with another yarn unless I've got something similar.
Right. What did you say it was with the cotton?
Bamboo. Sorry, soya.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's super stretchy.
Is it the same as cotton, or is it?
Warm wash, minimum washing conditions, machine wash, dry flat, wash dark colours separately. 40-degree wash on a reduced agitation, but it does stretch. I've knitted swatches with it before, and I was going to make a cardigan with it, but my swatch, when I use the weights off my knitting machine when I do a bigger swatch and just put them on the bottom to see what effect much more of the yarn would do to it. Oh, and it grew like Billy-O. Andrea suggested mitts. I could maybe get a little pair of fingerless mitts out of it.
You could get small, not like long up there, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really accurate representation of the colour as well. It's quite a pretty
purpley
colour. So yeah, mitts might be the thing. They could probably get stolen by my mother.
Wow,
knitting thief.
Yeah, because those are ideal, because sometimes when you're working on a computer, your hands can get a little bit cold, can't they?
Yeah. And I thought when I finished my cowl in the Japonica, I thought I'd make myself look really ill and wear my wheat sheaf hat in the same colour.
Yeah,
this is one I wear for dog walking, because being the Rowan Cash Soft, it's super thick and warm and cushy, and it keeps my head really toasty. But of course, I come back looking like death warmed up. So if I have the cowl and the hat combo,
oh my goodness,
I'll probably get sloped off into a coffin on the way home.
Yeah. Somebody will say, put that poor woman out of her misery.
Hey, how sick does she look? My goodness.
They'll probably be avoiding you. Quick, put on a mask.
Maybe. Just having a look round to see if there's anything else I can show you. I don't think there is anything else handy. Unless anybody's got any ideas for this. This is actually some shop stock that should probably go. It's a discontinued yarn from Ousterman called Alpaca Silk. And I have about 7 or 8 balls here, and I've probably got about 10 up at Mike's in storage at the moment. And it's this really screaming bright pillar box red. It's an overwhelming in-your-face red. The Germans, for some reason, it's one of their best-selling colours.
What fibre content is that?
It's an alpaca silk blend. It is. Oh, where is it going to tell me? It's a 50-gram ball.
Excellent.
Let me tuck this. 80% alpaca, 20% silk. Yeah, I might have problems with that wearing it.
Yeah.
It might be okay once it's been washed.
Yeah.
It might be one of those where I have to knit a little bit, put it in the fridge. Oh, now who's saying combine it with another colour? Oh, Vil, yeah, that's a good idea. I might have some of a brown colour, a muted brown called Bark. For whatever reason, Mike seems utterly incapable of giving me the colour number off the ball band. Because every time I ask him, what's the colour number? Yeah, I'll sort it out. And so I still don't know what the colour number is, so I can't even Google it. And so what's that? Because it's something we have in our travelling stock rather than our online stock.
Right.
It tends to be where sort of all the odds and sods are. Oh, Elaine says hello, knitting ladies. Hello.
Hello.
I might have some camel I could put with it.
Being 80% alpaca, it'll grow as well, though, won't it? It doesn't keep its shape very well, alpaca.
No, you saw the cardigan that I sent to Helen to try on to see what she thought of the style. It was in Amanda. She used to call herself Adnama on Ravelry, and now she calls herself the Public Knitter or something.
All right.
Andrea will remember the cardigan because we keep saying we're going to doing a knit along with it, and it's got a cable-y lace. You start with a provisional cast on at the back neck and then knit across, and then you pick up the shoulders and the back and start knitting down raglan style, and then working the collar all the way down. And I did it in a sort of rusty colour, and it's an alpaca blend, Peyton's Mist or something like that it is.
Coal Creek Trail.
Coal Creek Trail. See, I knew that you'd know it.
The font of all knowledge.
Yeah, she's on the ball.
Yeah.
And I brought that I posted that to Helen, and then she brought that back to Yarndale for me. And that's an alpaca blend. And I made a size larger than I wanted to. Yeah, and Amanda needed a bigger size than I wanted testing. And because I know her quite well, I agreed to do it. And it is lovely and comfy and all the rest of it. But because I've got no shoulders and muscular arms, don't forget the muscular arms.
Very muscular arms, lovely those. Yeah.
And slightly broader on the beam, half an inch difference or something like that. Anyway, it was quite a flattering fit in terms of the way that it sat on the shoulders. But for me, I could probably have gone down 2 or 3 sizes on the upper body.
Right.
The armhole depth was really deep because of the way the yarn grew.
Right.
It was meant to be something like Malabrigo, Arroyo, and I did it in a double knit because I got gauge with it. But yeah, and I'm in the process of ripping it out. Andrea says we need to make that. Yeah, we do, and I've got some really nice yarn for it as well. So yeah, I'm desperate to make another one because I wore it such a lot.
Yeah,
it was such a lovely pattern, and I quite like the idea of doing the collar and everything else and working it down, and then all you've got to do is a little bit of cinching in at the underarms and a few ends to weave in, and it's all done. And that one's got really clever pockets.
And will you knit the sleeves?
I'd have to do those before I knit the body. I think I might have done that because it was a test knit. I had to do it.
Right.
So there was
no.
I'll probably have to sign up as my own test knitter.
You will, yeah. And you have to sign an agreement saying, I promise to knit the sleeves.
Yeah, and I'll probably have to have Miss Teacher telling me off.
Well, we can keep you accountable.
Yeah. Someone to do that. Really quickly before we finish, one of the things that we're planning and we wanted to tell you about is we're going to do a knit along. Yeah. Bit of fun. It's 25% off both our ranges of patterns, and the code for that is it Cowlabunga.
Cowlabunga 20. It's either Cowlabunga 20 or Cowlabunga 2020.
I think we went with 2020, didn't we?
Yeah.
But we'll publicise it all when we're ready. We've organised our dates and everything else. We're just at the early planning stage.
Celebrate your new pattern coming out.
And it'll be launched when this pattern comes out, which should be around about middle of the month. And then we'll launch the knit along. And when are we planning that one till? Was it about the end of April or something?
Till the end of April, 30th of April, and we'll have some prizes. I've got a Kelly Connor bag that I want to give as the main prize. I think we were going to give some prizes for any finished items that are posted, and whip pictures as well. We want to see whips, don't we? So
yeah, not whips. Works in progress for anyone that's just joined us and isn't a knitter. Works in progress of the pattern in the knit along.
So
just in case you wanted to show us your whip pictures.
Show us your whips. So if you post a picture of a whip on social media, we were going to do a random prize draw for a pattern code, weren't we?
Yeah. Each day we'll be looking at what's posted on social media and who's out there and looking for it doesn't have to be beautiful photographs or, you know, Instagrammable or any of that. What looking for a bit of fun.
Yeah.
And being creative with it and having a bit of a laugh as well. So, you know, we don't want to take it too seriously. We just want to enjoy
Well, I mean,
it.
the hashtag's cowlabunga, so
Yeah,
you
well,
know,
it's kind of blue there.
so it's got to, you know, have a bit of fun with it.
Yeah, Andrea says you're calling me out on my sleeves. You're brutal. She says you're being brutal.
Hashtag Sleevegate.
I just love it when she's masterful, Andy. What can I say?
Hey, this whole thing started for accountability.
It did. It was our Friday Zoom chat in the morning, and what we decided to do at the end of every month is we do our plans for the following month, and then we speak at the end of the month, and we have to fudge our way if we've not done something. But we get to do lots of ticks on our list if we've done them, and we get gold stars.
And I haven't done that one because, so it's all right, it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, if there's a valid reason for it, that's fair enough. But it's good to have kind of an accountability buddy. Andrea says, hashtag Sleevegate. She loves it.
It's Sleevegate, definite.
Yeah, we're going to use hashtag cowlabunga, but I bet Sleevegate takes over, doesn't it?
I think Sleevegate is a brilliant one.
It's definitely my thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I still haven't put the buttons on my hollyhock cardigan, which is the lilac-y one I showed on Instagram the other day. But I have worn it 3 times.
So do we need hashtag buttongate as well?
Yeah, I can go with that. Yeah, I mean, and it's not so bad because it's only up there at the top of the dresser that's behind me. And there's some big Portmeirion jars about this big. There's 3 of them. And they're full of all my buttons. And I spent the other day like a complete sado sorting them out into colour groups.
All right, yeah, like you do.
So all the blues are together, all the greens are together, all the reds are together, all the Christmas ones, and into logical groups like that. And then there's baby buttons with smaller bags inside with sort of yellow, blue, green, pink, and so on.
Well, who needs buttons? Exactly.
Is that Jewel Designs or JUL or is it Yule? I'm not sure. I'm probably massacring that, but Jewel Designs closures are amazing. Who needs buttons?
Just get one of those like a shawl pin and close it that way. It'll be fine. But then again, you know, the weather's improving. Do we need to do our cardigans up?
I don't know.
You know,
when I sat down to do the buttons, what I might actually do is some afterthought pockets.
All right, yeah.
I feel like it needs pockets. Oh, Colleen's just joined us. Hello, Colleen. We're actually almost done, but once we finish the video, I'll be ready to watch again from the start. So do say hi if you're watching us on the replay.
Some of us need our beauty sleep.
Yeah, me more than others.
Well, this is why I can spend up to 12 hours of sleep, because I need it.
But it works so well, doesn't it, ladies? She looked a cracker in those zebra pajamas.
And Arthur's still trying to get in on the action. Look at him.
Oh, bless.
Yeah.
He's just lovely. Coco's gone to bed now, so I've got
you know,
Coco was asleep anyway. All the food had gone, so there was no point staying up.
There's no food. She's had her wee. Might as well go to sleep.
Yeah. So if we haven't got any more questions, I think it's time for us to wrap up because Emma's most definitely ready for bed because she's in bed.
I'm not. I'm on the sofa.
Oh, you're actually on the sofa. Sorry.
I am on the sofa, but I am in my PJs.
When we spoke earlier.
Yeah, I was in bed earlier, ready for my nana nap. Yeah. So I had a nana nap and an early bed. I mean, come on, there's something going on here.
Right, you're just going to look amazing in the pack run, aren't you? You're just going to dazzle them all with your youthful, dewy skin. Oh, and thank you to Helen and Janice for the recommendation of the quick product placement. Can you see that?
The hand cream.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Phil will tell you how bad my eczema was when I was a child. I was like sandpaper lizard person.
Oh, nice.
And this actually makes the skin on my hands feel human. It's lovely. It's really, really nice.
Oh, I love it.
Yes.
Expensive.
I suppose it is. I mean, I wouldn't buy a bucket of it.
Unless it was on offer.
Unless it was on a very good offer. I did try the udder cream. I was telling Emma earlier that I got a massive, I think it was a 2-kilo tub of udder cream from one of the agricultural suppliers for the farmers. My friend Janet picked that up for me, and that was I really loved that for my skin, and I'm slopping it on and thinking this is marvellous, looking 10 years younger, like Cleopatra bathing in milk. It was brilliant. And then I go out one day to a meeting and I come back and the dogs have decided to eat the lid and then the top third of the udder cream.
I can't imagine it would have tasted nice though.
I don't know if it was the fattiness of the
yeah. Maybe it had a particular smell that they liked.
I don't know what it was, because it wasn't scented or anything. I think the devil was just in them that day. And I managed to save about the bottom half of the bucket and got that into other containers. But the top bit was just full of dog whiskers and just it really wasn't pleasant.
No.
Yeah, I'm not sure it did.
You don't like to slather dog hairs on your skin when you're moisturising then?
No, I did go give that a miss. I'm not sure it's a good look.
No.
Perhaps in certain quarters, I don't know.
Love it.
Not for me. So about time for us to wrap up. Thank you everybody that's watched us live. Really great to see you all. Obviously anyone on replay, if you just do #replay to let us know. And any questions, please put them in the comments and we will get back to you, and we'll be loading this onto our YouTube channel sometime over the weekend when I finished editing it.
And some suggestions for our next one if you've got anything.
Oh yeah, what would we like to talk about? Because Tanya asked about colourwork, didn't she, last time?
She did, yeah.
Yeah, so what about last time? Do we want to do some lace? I could probably show a couple of lacy shawls and we can discuss lifelines and other things like that maybe.
Could live dangerously without a lifeline,
Yeah, I've only really done that once. Oh, thank you for the lovely knitting tips. You're very welcome. Thank you,
and
Bill.
then more news coming soon about cowabunga as well.
Yeah, get ready for that one. Emma's got a great range of cowl patterns, and she tends to do them in sets as well. Whereas I'll be more eclectic. Sometimes I'll do a set, and then sometimes I'll do a thing.
Yeah.
And then never do anything to match it. So
and then you go, oh, shiny thing, and then do something else.
Yeah, so I'm more in that direction. Or I'll cheat and I'll do a cowl in the same yarn but a different pattern, but it's the same colour as the hat that's got a different pattern again, and nobody notices it's not a set. So,
so that works well. Love it.
Yeah, well, you can cheat that way. There's lots of things. Brilliant. Well, thanks everyone for watching. We're going to head off now.
We'll be back soon.
Stop the stream and we'll see you next time.
See you later. Don't forget to follow us. Bye.
Bye.